In this particular video, there's this dog. White Pitty is on the girl's lap, and a lot of you probably have already seen it. The dog is on her lap. She's telling the dog to get off. She's telling the dog to get down, and this dog just gets more and more intense. And when I posted this, I posted it as a joke, not knowing what actually happened. I didn't really think anybody got hurt after that. I figured, they posted it. Obviously, I don't think anything happened. So on the video, in the entire video, nothing actually happens during the video. But I've heard a couple of times, and apparently the brother, who's the person recording, said that the girl got bit after the video stopped rolling. I don't know the extent of the damage, I don't know the severity, but apparently this did happen afterwards. The girl did end up getting bit. So obviously I felt a little bit bad because I didn't think this turned into an actual attack, into an actual bite. I made light of it. But just to kind of talk a little bit about that, you look at a dog like this and your immediate reaction is, wow, that's really scary, and it looks very scary. But the one thing that we don't know is we don't know how long this has happened. Is this an isolated event? Is this something that happens regularly? Is this something that maybe has been escalating, something that's been getting a little bit worse? Or is it something that maybe has gotten a little bit better? Maybe it's not as bad as it used to be. We really have very little information. We don't know what happened afterwards. All we know is what's happening at the time. Briefly, the camera points at the other dog eating. And a lot of people in different groups, different pages, are making their conclusions as to what could be happening. A lot of them are wrong. There's these stories that people are coming up with as to why the dog is doing that. And the reality is we don't know. When I posted it, a lot of the people that follow my page were saying things like, the dog needs to be put down, needs a dirt nap, needs a pink juice. I got a bunch of those comments. The dog needs the pink juice, so euthanasia. And I'm not gonna say that I entirely disagree with that statement, but at the same time, I don't entirely agree with it. And I can tell you this from experience, because I've had my own dog, Rust, the Malinois, done the exact same thing to me one time. He did it one time. And that's what he did. He was on my lap, we were cuddling. I was in my office, sitting on my desk. I'm the only person in the building with my dog, because it's after hours, and I'm working on some stuff, and he's on my lap. And we're just, petting him, and suddenly it just snapped. He went from this cuddly dog to he got that serious, just like the dog in that video. And he was on my chest, got super intense, got that same serious face. Definitely made the hairs on the back of my neck stand. And I remember thinking, wow, this looks really bad. I'm in the worst position possible. I don't have a leash on him. His face is right here. He's snarling and growling at me. Naturally, I have more experience in this, so I knew how to respond to that. I just stood up. I just stood up immediately. Not fast, no jerky movements. I just stood up, very matter of fact, and directed him to his crate. And after that, he was fine. He'd never done it after that. But Rust, my dog Rust, he's a special dog. He's a very quirky dog. Just to give you a little bit of an idea of what kind of dog he is, when he was 6 or 7 months of age, very young, that was the very first time that he attempted to actually hurt me. I don't mean snapping, I don't mean the little Maligator snap and the little bites that Malinois puppies do. Like, he got pissed because we're playing this game that we've been playing for a long time, 7 months of age. I've had him since he was a puppy. And this time he was like, hey, let's wrap up this game, just like we had done it many other times. Nothing had changed. I know people are going to try to read into it and go, well, what could have happened? What did you do? What did you do prior to? Things that I would be asking too. And nothing. The only thing that was happening is that was about the time that maturity started to kick in. That was about the time that he started to leave puppyhood. So he did that to me that one time. We had a little bit of a come to Jesus meeting. Nothing serious, nothing insane, nothing abusive. but it was straight to the point, let him know that is unacceptable. And then he didn't do it after that until he was maybe about 2 years of age. Same thing with working, and the scenario was a little bit different, and he decided, hey, I don't want you to tell me, I don't want to do that. And I was like, hey, dude, we got to do that, just like we had done it every other time. Got really serious again, and this is kind of a trait that he has. He does have that seriousness about him, where occasionally it kicks in, but it only got scary to me those 3 times. When he was about 7 months of age. 7 months of age, that's a puppy, but the level of seriousness he had, it was very serious, right snapping for my face. And then about 2 years of age, where he again got very serious. Both those times I took care of it immediately. I addressed it and let him know this is unacceptable, and he was fine for like the longest time. And this incident when he was on my lap, there was nothing going on there. I wasn't telling him what to do. We were not ending any game. He was just sitting on my lap, and suddenly he just went into that mode. And then I redirected him, and we've never had any issues ever since. He's like 6 years old, and in his whole life, those 3 incidents were a little bit weird. But again, he's a little bit of a weird type of dog, and that kind of reminded me of my dog when I saw this girl deal with that dog. The one thing that I would say is, because I don't know what happened prior to what had been happening consistently, how long that had been happening. My immediate belief is that maybe this dog is not maybe, very likely this dog is not in the right home. There are dogs that could be great animals if they go to the right home. If they're not in the right home, they could be terrible, terrible dogs. I can tell you that from about my other dog, Jax, my 11-year-old dog. He's definitely a very difficult dog in the wrong hands. Ross, my Malinois, absolutely, with the weirdness and the seriousness that he has behind him, he would definitely be a nightmare in a different home. He probably would have been put down. So when I look at this dog, I see the same thing. This dog is just not in the right home. This is from the very little bit that I saw. But if you look at the video in its entirety, it does give you a little bit of that, oh crap, what's about to happen next.
It's okay. Calm down. Get on the floor. You get some food? You want some food? Sit down.